What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Short Porch. I'm your host, Hubs. Alongside me, oh, just kidding. It's just me today. Tommy Smokes is in Saratoga. So I'm doing a little like solo thing, a little Francesa action. So Tommy's betting the horses with Dave and Frankie and everybody. So he has a few notes for a few segments we've got scheduled, and so one of them was it just says Saratoga is really nice, and my horse racing luck hasn't been there, but I never was good luck for horse racing, and there's plenty of week left. I know Dave handed them $1,000 cash today, him and Frankie, and they lost it all. So not great. I think Dave is on the verge of losing $50,000, so he might not be. Tommy might not be in Dave's good graces. So he's not here. Maybe we're going to do something, in his hotel room or whatever. But his Wi-Fi is shaky, and he's probably having a ball. He's out to dinner. I'm here. I'm in my room. I'm home. I actually got home today around 6:30, and it was still light out. They know the Yankee game was not happening. There was no Yankee game today. They're in Baltimore tomorrow, and I've just really done nothing for 3 hours. It's been very weird. It's almost like the off season. It felt like today, or like that weird, the All-Star break or something, because I just didn't know what to do with myself for 3 hours. I mean, I'm watching the fucking Browns and Eagles right now. I mean, I'm interested for Baker Mayfield, but like I really just I've done nothing. I've walked my dog twice. That's the highlight of my night. But let's get into the Yankees split with the Marlins, which is obviously very bad because the Marlins stink. They are a terrible team, and obviously we can't beat the terrible teams. They're 51 and 77, a 398 winning percentage, and we couldn't win both games. We probably should have lost both of them. We're really being honest with ourselves. Tuesday, Tanaka pitches well. He seems to be really on track since he's come off the DL. I think it's been 8 starts, got like a 2.7. So a lot of confidence in Tanaka right now. Could he be the wild card guy right now? We keep asking ourselves after every start, like, oh, is Jay Happ the guy? Is Lance Lynn the guy? Lance Lynn is kind of playing himself out of that conversation. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it's really Happ's. I guess I still have faith Severino is going to turn it around, but Tanaka is probably the leader, and then Happ behind him, and Severino has the ability in the next 5 weeks to take that jump, and hopefully he will, because obviously Luis Severino is the ideal option because he has the best stuff, and he is the ace of this starting rotation. But Tanaka was very good on Tuesday. Gives you 6 strong, and hands it over the bullpen, and it got dicey. I mean, it got really dicey. Thank God the bullpen actually stepped up for a change, because it hasn't been great in the second half. Even though we knighted it as the super bullpen. Is it the best bullpen ever? And it hasn't really shown up really like that. So what happens? Zach Britton comes in. Zach Britton's looked much better his last 3 appearances. Granted, it's 3 appearances. Zach Britton pitched well. 1-2-3 inning. He's had like maybe one other 1-2-3 inning, if that. So he's been looking better. Obviously, his first few appearances were bases loaded. Feel like every time, but Britton was good. Hands it over to Dellin. Dellin was a destroyer over all worlds. Dellin that we all know and love. He was fantastic. In the meantime, while this all was going on, we can't score off the fucking Marlins after putting up a 28 spot against the Blue Jays over the weekend in a sweep. All of a sudden, just can't hit the Marlins pitching, which is we got Pablo Lopez out here going 6 innings, 1 earned, and then really not hitting the bullpen until very late, if that. They had their opportunities. I'll give them that. I mean, they did pound out 9 hits. They just couldn't cash in. It seemed like Giancarlo was up later in the game. He was good in the beginning, and just couldn't come through. And I don't know. It just didn't happen. I mean, the story of the whole year is not hitting with runners in scoring position. Happened again on Tuesday. But in the meantime, the bullpen was very good. Chad Green runs into a lot of trouble in the 9th inning, and pretty much everyone just closed the book on the game. We're like, wow, we lost to the Marlins on Tuesday. That sucks, because he starts off the bottom of the 9th, walking Real Muto. And while this is going on, Michael K, goddamn, man, like you're talking about how, oh yeah, he's really looked different since he went to the changeup and abandoned that slider. He looks like a way different pitcher, and blah 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 blah. Well, in the meantime, while he's all saying this, right, he walks Real Muto and gives up a hit to fucking Anderson, and it's 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Thanks, Michael K. Jesus Christ, man, put a fucking foot in your, god damn it. So then Chad Green, when it's first and third, nobody out, he kind of just morphs into angry, pissed off at the world, wild card Chad Green, where like, okay, these guys have to be retired. Like we are not going to dance around the rope anymore. So what's he do? He dials his fastball with coming out 98, 99. It might as well have been 105 with the amount of movement it had. Like something snapped in his brain, and hopefully this is a little turning point for him because we need Chad Green to be Chad Green, like big time. That guy is one of the more dangerous arms we have, and he really hasn't lived up to it in the second half. But he strikes out Dietrich, and they walk Castro. I feel like Starlin Castro got walked a billion times intentionally this in the two games. I feel like he was just never up at the actual plate. Then he gets Dean to strike out and Riddle to ground it up the middle. Walker to Castro was kind of I just didn't know how to feel ball up the middle. Like I don't know, for some reason I saw either Glaber dropping it at second on the catch or just Walker misplaying it, but it ended up working out. They got out of it. Miracle. So you're thinking, okay, wow, let's go. We're gonna win this fucking game in the 10th. What happens? 1, 2, 3 inning. Bad. Bottom of the 10th inning, Holder was fantastic. Strikes out the side. Top of the 11th, Greg Bird strikes out. Thanks for coming. You're the fucking worst. Finishes the day 0 for 6. Way to just like use that grand slam and maybe some sort of momentum you have on Sunday, and you just fucking go 0 for 6. You are so fucking predictable and awful and pathetic. Oh, just the goddamn worst. I hate being right, and I rarely am, but we are so fucking right on this piece of shit, Greg Bird. It is unbelievable. He goes 0 for 0 for 4 in the next game, so he's 0 for 13 since that grand slam. He on the fucking month. He is hitting 127 with a 205 OBP and a 254 slugging percentage. What are we doing here? He's quoted after on Wednesday saying it sucks to suck. God damn it, man. You can't be saying that shit. I get it. You have to be accountable. But sucks to suck is like Boston Red Sox Bolton. Like, oh, let's put that on a shirt. Oh, the Yankees suck to suck. That's what they say. Like, he's just a pathetic waste of a human being. I can't remember hating a Yankee so like more than this guy. Like I hate him way more than I did Tyler Clippard, Nick Johnson, any of these guys. Maybe just because I still have people DMing me and being like he's gonna hit 280 next year. What are you saying? What are you looking at? I just don't get it. What is there to say? I got people saying his pitch recognition has gotten better. What the fuck does that mean? What are you looking at that says that Greg Bird's pitch recognition got better? On Wednesday, he struck out on a pitch that was bounced 3 feet in front of home plate. 3 feet. What do you mean his pitch recognition got better? I don't understand what that means. I don't understand how you can just watch this season and see that he's hitting 127 in August and a 205 OBP, which is so fucking impossibly bad. And you to tell me that his pitch recognition got better. You are a fucking crazy person. You are a Greg Bird apologist to the extreme. You are the leader. You are the fucking leader of the organization of Greg Bird apologists if you think his pitch recognition has gotten better. You are a crazy person. I didn't think I was going to get that angry in this solo podcast. I kind of see why Francesca just goes on these rants, but it's kind of cool. To the top of the 11th, Bird strikes out. They go down without a fucking fight. Bottom of the 11th. So they've used, at this point, Britton, Betances, Green, Holder, and Robertson is not warming up. So you get the sense that there's something up. You don't know it yet, but he had something going on with his shoulder, which is concerning because he was also unavailable, it looks like, on Wednesday, and they had the day off. So he's gotten like 3 or 4 days rest. So they say it's nothing, but they said Chapman was nothing, and look where we are. So I never trusted that Chapman's whole situation was nothing. So what does Boone do? Doesn't want to use Chapman in the non-save situation when he doesn't have to. So what they do is it's between pretty much Canley or AJ Cole because you don't want to use Sonny Gray since he had just pitched the other day. That was an absolute emergency. Although, I mean, if this game goes another inning or two, Sonny Gray's coming in this game. And then I don't even know what the hell we're going to do there. But AJ Cole comes in, and what does AJ Cole do? Well, he walks the leadoff batter just like fucking Chad Green does. And Dietrich singles, and we got first and third, nobody out. We walk Castro, bases loaded, nobody out. Set up the force play at home. and it actually works out beautifully. Hits the ball right at Glaber. Glaber comes home to get the out. First out of the inning. I gotta say, Glaber looked fantastic. I mean, he did make one error on Wednesday where he bobbled the ball and was kind of thinking about stepping on second and making the throw to first for the double play before he actually did it. Understandable. Not going to kill him for it. I thought he just looked very, very smooth overall. Otherwise, at short, just you could see that that is his normal position. His arm is perfect for it. I think either in the first couple innings on Tuesday, there was a line drive hit right at him, and he just knew to go to no. It just looked so smooth. He doubled the guy off at first. It just looked very, very smooth, very comfortable, and he looked very comfortable in this ground ball hit to him, right at him. To come home, made a strong throw. It was great. So then AJ Cole, not a strikeout pitcher. So you kind of think like when Chad Green has first and third and RBI, you're like, okay, well he could strike out the side here. He could. He did strike out two guys. Like he has the stuff to do that. You don't think that with AJ Cole. I mean, the base load, nobody out. I don't know who it's like chasing Shreve all over again. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible situation to be in. But AJ Cole does get Riddle to strike out and Sierra to foul out to third, and he gets out of bases load, nobody out. Twice in the ninth and the 11th, they were dead to rights and they got out of it. It was the most bizarre game in the world. So the top of the 12th, finally they capitalize. Higgy leads off with a single. Gardner walks. Stan does strike out. Hicks hit by the pitch. He was a little banged up. I think he's okay. And then Andahar comes through with the sac fly. I actually psyched myself out because it was such a crazy game that I thought Bird was up instead of Andahar at the time. So I was just like, here comes a double play. I mean, this motherfucker's ground because he's going to hit one back to the pitcher, come home, throw to first, get him by a million miles. But luckily, Andahar was up. 2-2 pitch, hits a nice sac fly deep enough and left to score the run. Yanks up 2-1. Greg Bird does strike out because he's the fucking worst after that because we couldn't get any more. Chapman comes in to close it out in the 12th, and he was terrible. I mean, he was throwing 95 miles an hour. It was the slowest velo he's had in like 4 years, I think I saw. So he walks Galloway, throws one ball to Ortega, and immediately singles to the trainer, has to come out. I feel like this is the fourth time this has happened where he's just pointed the trainer and just had to come out of a game. I've said it countless times before that this is a problem and he should have been DL'd beforehand instead of waiting until late August to do this. So he goes on a DL, left knee tendonitis. He's who the fuck knows how long he's out for. We'll get into in a second who I think should be the closer. But who comes in? The last man in the fucking bullpen. The last arm we have. Tommy Canley, my fucking boy, my bulldog, my fucking best friend, Tommy Canley. He comes in with a fire of 1,000 suns, just like he did in the playoffs last year. And what does Bulldog Canley do? He strikes out. Oh, sorry. He gets Ortega to fly out. Then he strikes. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, he gets Ortega to fly out. Then he gets Real Muto. Then Higashioka throws out Galloway and the game. Almost hits Canley on the throw because it was so low, but gets him out. They review it, so the game doesn't end immediately, but they get him out. Game over. Tommy Canley gets the save. My fucking boy comes through. I was so happy. It was like my brother was pitching, and I don't have a brother. I wish I had a brother, and I wish his name was Tommy Canley because that's my boy. I don't understand. This is one of the notes that what's his name? Tommy Smokes that came up with that. Sorry, let me find it. Fuck is this? I have so many texts here. Just kidding. No one texts me. Tommy Smokes says Tommy Canley is awesome, and I don't get why he spent so much time in AAA. Thanks for tuning in. Tommy Smokes right there, and the podcast knew he was there. But yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand why AJ Cole is on the roster ahead of Tommy Canley. I don't understand why Jason Shreve was here instead of Tommy Canley. This guy, sure, he's not throwing 98 miles an hour like last year. He was hitting 97 yesterday. He was sitting on Tuesday. He was sitting 96 mostly, but 97. That's fine. His changeup was fantastic. There was a 91-mile-an-hour changeup. I think it was 92 was the one he struck out Real Muto looking on. That thing moved like 6 or 7 inches. It was fantastic. I love Tommy Canley. Keep him on this team. Keep him on the playoff roster. I need him pitching in big moments. And Boone did go to him first on Wednesday. So I guess what are we going to get to? Yeah, we'll go Wednesday, and then we'll go who should be my closer. But so Wednesday, Lance Lynn pitches not great, and he was. I mean, yeah, he was pretty bad. I mean, he should have gotten taken out early without a doubt. He was slowing down in that 6th inning. I mean, a fucking blind person. My sister doesn't even watch baseball, and she could have fucking said, "Oh yeah, he looks tired out there. Maybe he shouldn't be pitching." Well, it's a 2-0 ball game. He comes out for the sixth. Pitch count is hovering right near 100. Gives up a single Anderson, infield single to Castro. So it's first and second. I have no idea why you don't pull him here. I just don't get it. He clearly doesn't. He's clearly tiring. His pitches don't have. He's throwing like 94, 93. Take him out of the game. What does Boone do? He has no concept of how to manage a bullpen. He leaves him in. Dietrich grounds out. So he gets second and third, one out. Leaves him in again. Dean infield single, 2-1. And then fucking Miguel Rojas hits a 3-run home run. How the fuck is he left in this game is insane to me. It's insane. It makes no goddamn sense. So what does he do? He leaves him in again after the home run. He still said, yeah, sure, you can finish it. No! You're so wrong, Boone. Have fucking common sense. Larry Rothschild, bro, you've been in the league. You've been a coach since 1990. Like, what are you doing, pal? How about you tell Boone what to do? I don't get it. You could easily hint to him, hey, I don't think this guy has it right now. Nope, doesn't say a fucking word. Sits there, fucking moron. He's as guilty. He should be fired next. He should not be the pitching coach next year either. He's done such a bad job this year. I feel like with the pitching, I feel like he really has. He has no. He has no idea how to fix Severino. Just besides sending him out there, I don't think they've done a shit to change him. Sonny Gray has admitted that Rothschild has literally said nothing to him to get him back on track. Granted, Sonny Gray is pretty much a lost cause at this point to be like a normal guy in the rotation. He is apparently going to start on Saturday, it looks like. But, I mean, help the guy out if it needs. It doesn't look like you're doing anything else, Larry Rothschild, because you're not doing anything. So, yeah, Rojas hits the 3-run home run. Fucking Lynn is left back in there to face Sierra, infield single. Then you bring in Tommy Canley, first guy off the bench, first guy out of the bullpen. And he gives up a leadoff double. But you know what? That shouldn't have been a fucking – and it's an RBI. It shouldn't have been. Canley should have just, at minimum, should have came in after the Rojas home run and faced Sierra. Let him have his own clean inning. It made no sense to me to leave him in for Sierra. Never mind already leaving him to face Rojas and Dean. Should have been out of the game after Castro had the infield single 4 batters earlier. And so before you know it's 5-2 at bottom of the sixth. Like, what the hell happened here? And the Yankees are not able to come back. But so they do scratch across the run in that 7th inning to make it 5-3. And I'm sorry this is very recappy, but like it's the best way to just shit on Boone. It's 5-3, and we're going to the bottom of the 7th. You choose to bring in, and I love Chance Adams, love him. So chances were called. I want to say, oh yeah, in place of Chapman going the deal, they called Chance Adams back. So he hasn't been in a reliever in 3 years. That hasn't come into the role. So you want to bring him in a 5-3 ball game in a game that's totally winnable still. It's the Miami Marlins, and you have a fucking lineup with Giancarlo Stanton and Miguel Andujar and Gleyber Torres and Hicks. You have guys that can put up. We just scored 28 goddamn runs over the weekend. You don't think we have 5-3 lead is possible for us to come back in? Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a break. I was just checking to see if our streams go. There's a good chance this just isn't recording, but I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, hopefully it is. But anyways, he brings in Chance Adams, and Chance was pretty terrible. You know why? Because he's not used to being a goddamn reliever. His Boone after the game, they asked him, what was your thinking in bringing in Chance Adams over maybe like a Chad Green? He said that if it was a 1-run game, he would have brought Chad Green in. So a 2-run game means, we should punt the game away essentially and bring in a guy who's never been a reliever, hasn't been a reliever in 3 years. That's your thinking? A 1-run game and a 2-run game are completely different against the Miami Marlins? We're gaining ground on the Red Sox, and you want to just punt games away against the Miami Marlins? Jesus Christ. So Chance implodes, gives up a 2-run homer to Riddle. It's 8-3 games, fucking 9-3 games, fucking over. Not coming back from 6 against any team in an 8th. Jesus Christ, man. This is stupid. And like I said today, I said after the game, I said this morning that, we need to stop saying the sky is falling on Twitter after a loss to the Marlins. And I meant that in a way of saying like we can't win the world. People are saying like we can't win the World Series after losing to the Marlins in a late August game without Didi Gregorius, Aaron Judge, fucking Gary Sanchez, Roldis Chapman, Clint Frazier. Relax. You're still 32 over 500. I'm saying, and that doesn't mean you. So by saying like you can't say the sky's falling, you can still shit on Aaron Boone because this what he does in the last two games is nonsense, and you can still shit on Greg Bird. So don't tell you can still be a fan and criticize the team. I'm just saying be a little smart and realize that this team is probably still going to win 100 games, and we're going to get really healthy by mid September, hopefully. So I'm just saying, don't say the sky is falling when you lose a single game to the Marlins and snap your 4-game winning streak. Don't lose. And the Red Sox beat the Indians that same day, so it's not great. But just relax. The season's not over. Season's got there's still so much time to just get on a roll. I think someone had said today on Twitter how we didn't really pick up the toe show until September last year. The whole Todd Frazier thumbs down didn't happen until September. I mean, yeah, we're gonna get into Pedro in a little bit, but the fact that people are saying like this team is lifeless and not fun and they don't have energy, we didn't really pick that up until September last year either. Judge was terrible until September last year, and then he just turned into a different person. There's so much time to play baseball. There's still over 30 games to be played, and we got so many guys coming back eventually in the next 3 weeks. We would think they're all back within 3 weeks. So, but you can still criticize Boone. And what Boone did on Wednesday, bringing in Chance Adams over Chad Green because it's a 2-run game instead of a 1-run game, is borderline insanity. And what he did, it's just, and Tuesday trusting AJ Cole over Canley. What makes you think that, man? What makes you think you can trust AJ? And I understand he got out of he got out of his jam, base load, nobody out. But the inning was going exactly how he thought it would. If you expect someone to shit the bed when they come in as a reliever, maybe it's not a good idea to like keep putting that guy out there in those spots. I understand he was strapped and Canley had gotten hit up a bit by the Blue Jays over the weekend, but I mean it's Tommy Canley. Look at his pedigree. Look what he did for us in the postseason. You really have that guy last out of the pen over AJ Cole, who's been pretty terrible in the last month? Come on, man. That's just dumb. That's not smart. It's just stupid. So yeah, Bert. So yeah, you can shit on Boone and you can shit on Bert. So yeah, those are the two games we split with the Marlins. Not great. We had going into Wednesday, we had made up 3 games in 3 days against the Red Sox, and it was like, whoa, 7 back in the loss. And then when Wednesday starts, with it by 7:20, I looked at my phone and the Indians were up 2-0, and I'm like, whoa, we could beat, and we're up 2-0. I'm like, whoa, we beat the Marlins here, and they hold on. 6 in the loss? 6? With 6 games head-to-head against the Sox left, they play the Astros still. We have a very soft schedule. 6? Possible. Now it's back up to 8. So that's, the seesaw continues. But, yeah, you can't lose them. I mean, you can't lose. It's the story of the season. You can't lose to the Orioles, the Rays, and the Marlins. Those losses cost us the division most likely, barring a crazy collapse. But yeah, it's gonna be frustrating when we look back at the end of the season, and who knows how we end up. We could very well still win the World Series. I have all the confidence in the world we could still win the World Series, depending how Judge comes back and Didi and Gary. Gary, most importantly, I think. But when you look back and you're like, we were 32 over 500, and we had that many losses to the Orioles, Marlins, and Rays. God damn, that sucks. It's leaving a lot on the plate. Very frustrating. So we'll get it. So in terms of Bird, so someone I don't know if I forget if I actually picked it as a DM tonight, but what do you do with him in the playoffs, even down the stretch in September? So if I were the GM, and if I were the GM, we'd be doing some stupid things that I probably would have ruined the franchise because I'm an idiot, as we all are. No one's a real smart GM besides, you don't want to doubt Brian Cashman, although he's given us reasons to doubt by not getting a 4th outfielder. It's been very weird things he's done, little things that have made you question him. In the end, I do trust him, obviously. But Justin Smoke has cleared waivers from Toronto. The Smoke man can hit the baseball. Guy's got plenty of power to right field. Big lefty, can field his position. Hits like what 260, I want to say. Has like over 60 RBIs. Not a lot. Not a lot, man. He's got a buyout next year. He's not really, he's not. He's a guy that can be a rental. Why not take a stab at Justin Smoke? Also, Ryan Zimmerman. I don't know Ryan Zimmerman's contract at the top of my head. Let me see if I can pull that up without running this. Ryan Zimmerman did clear waivers today, and the Marlins and they no, he's 6 years, 100. This is probably his last year. Really, just oh, I'm just kidding. No chance we get Ryan Zimmerman. I'm just kidding. I did not realize he has another year owed 18 million. They are not trying to go after a Ryan Zimmerman, but Justin Smoke, I believe, is on the last end of his guaranteed deal, and the next is a team option. Excuse me. The next year, yeah, he's owed a team option, and it's $250,000 buyout next year. So you could easily bring in Justin Smoke and just say goodbye next year, or keep him at first base. I do think Miguel Andujar is probably our first baseman next year, but and the other guy, Mike Ford, not on the 40-man, so it's a little tricky. We're gonna get into who I think should be called up for the 40-man when rosters expand. I like Mike Ford at the AAA. He's a good dude. I know he's a stoolie. He hits the hell out of the ball. I wouldn't hate Mike Ford. In all honesty, in all likelihood, we're gonna get Neil Walker. I would think he's our first pick. I just can't see if this continues. If 127 continues into September and he just doesn't see it, how do you not play? Neil Walker has turned into one of the more. Michael Kay was talking about it. Neil Walker has turned into one of the more consistent hitters on the team after being essentially exiled by this fan base. He's hitting close to 300 in his last 2 months. Seems to just be so comfortable to play. Good clubhouse guy, I would imagine. I think I've heard that. So in my mind, Neil Walker's our starting first baseman in the wild card game, even in September. I mean, I hate Greg Bird more than most, but at what point doesn't everyone see what we're looking at? That this guy swings at balls that are 3 feet in front of the plate, and Neil Walker doesn't. Puts some good at bats, hits from both sides of the plate, can play multiple positions, plays first. I just don't get why. I don't know. I would hopefully like to see a Walker get like 4. That would be awesome to see him just he's such like a. So the thing with Bird is he's so laid back. He's from Colorado, I believe. So he's got like that laid back mentality. Fucking bench the guy, and maybe that lights a fire to him. He's never been. He thinks this guy probably is the most entitled guy in the world. Thinks he deserves everything he got. And really, the fault is the people in the organization that say he's the best pure hitter on the team. Probably went to his head, and he just honestly believes it, even though he can't even come close to a baseball. Sucks to suck. God damn you, Greg Bird. Let's see. Oh, we're getting the Jeter and A-Rod right now. So, obviously, went to Miami on Tuesday to play this 2-game series, and Derek Jeter was there. Well, he's not going to run and hide. When the Marlins came here early in the year, Jeter didn't make the trip. Well, we're going to your home, so you got to be there. He was in the stands on Tuesday, sitting with his wife Hannah, and he was with Tino on Wednesday. But he did an interview with Meredith. He did not talk to the New York media. Any of the beat writers were told he's not available. But he did a 5-minute interview with Meredith Morakovich. Frankie, Tommy and Frankie said that it was a weird interview and looked like he had taken acting lessons and is very scripted. I didn't really get that vibe. I don't know what they were looking at. They said he looked at the camera a lot. He looked at the camera. Oh my God, good heavens. Looked at the camera. That didn't bother me. I just thought he didn't really know what to see. He just kept repeating himself like, oh, it's hard work. He said hard work about 7 or 8 times in the 5-minute interview. I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. I think he desperately wanted to be there. I don't buy that it was his daughter's birthday. I mean, it was his daughter's birthday, but I feel like if Jerry Jeter told the Yankees that it was his daughter's birthday the same day they're playing the '98 reunion, I feel like over the weekend, they would have moved the '98 reunion for Derek Jeter to be there. He just still feels really uncomfortable. Whatever it is, he's got to deal with it. It won't affect my opinion of Derek Jeter. Certainly not. The guy was that's my idol. But Tommy said something weird on the rundown a couple days ago. So they were talking about A-Rod, and he said that So the whole thing about A Rod was that A Rod went to he stole the show at the VMAs. I believe that was on Monday, if I remember correctly. It was either Sunday or Monday. And A Rod went with Jennifer Lopez, his girlfriend, sat front row. Jennifer Lopez got the Lifetime Achievement Award, and she thanked A Rod in a very emotional thing. It was very cool. Big for A. I literally she was thanking like every single person that's ever been born on the planet, and it wasn't thanking A Rod, and I was about to freak out. But eventually she got the A-Rod and she's like, oh, like she was like very, very emotional about it. And I like did a fist pump. I was like, let's go, Alex. Because Alex is like the most likable guy in the world right now. So I think I actually got out of bed. I was like, let's fucking go. A-Rod, getting that recognition from Jenny, your girlfriend, smoke show, hottest girl in the world, love it. But he makes the trip from the VMAs. So this was Monday now that I think about it. Because Monday night into Tuesday. He makes the trip from Monday night into Tuesday. He's at the ballpark in Miami in full gear. He's got the warm up top on. He's got the gray sweats on, the gray baseball pants on. Probably some cleats. He was just teaching Miguel Andujar how to play third base. It was unbelievable. Fucking A-Rod. This guy, this guy runs his own business, A-Rod Corp. He's a girlfriend and a great photographer for Jennifer Lopez. For some reason, he feels the need to take pictures with his iPhone rather than the paid people with the really fancy cameras. But Rod's gonna make sure he gets the shot. He's his girlfriend. He's an ESPN analyst. He has to deal with Jessica Mendoza, who's the worst person in the world. So that's an unbelievable job. He's the postseason Fox guy, in dealing with whoever the hell it is, Frank Thomas, Pete Rose, whatever cast, Keith Hernandez, whatever cast of characters they have. And he's also still a special advisor to the Yankees, and he's teaching everybody how to play baseball. He's doing more coaching than Boone. The little video they had of him and Boone, it almost looked like he was the manager talking to an analyst. This whole solo thing destroys your throat. I'm gonna take a water sip real quick. 32 minutes. Jesus Christ, Eric. How the hell do you talk for 32 minutes? So the point I'm bringing up here is that on the rundown, Tommy says that Dave asks him, "Are you more of a Jeter guy than A-Rod? More of an A-Rod guy than a Jeter guy?" Because it seems like that, and he says, "Yeah." What? How can you call yourself a Yankee? I know A-Rod is this lovable guy now. How the hell can you call yourself a Yankee fan and say that? I wish he was here so I could just scream at him, and he would be such an asshole for it. But how in the world can you say that you're more of a fucking A-Rod guy than a Derek Jeter guy? Give me a break, Tommy. Jesus Christ. You're embarrassing us. Embarrassing us. Oh my God. He says in one of the notes, love A-Rod showing up in uniform. A-Rod just couldn't let Jeter have the spotlight. No, that's not it at all. Jeter doesn't have a spotlight. He sits away in his fucking owner's box. If it was up to him, he'd probably be at home. Jeter doesn't want the spotlight. Never wanted the spotlight. Come on, Tommy. You're better than that, man. I didn't like that. I'm gonna yell at you on Sunday when you're back here. God damn it. Fucking A-Rod over Jeter? What have you not watched the last decade of 15 years of baseball? Jesus. All right, in unrelated news, Justice Sheffield is moving to the bullpen. I actually got this news ahead of time, and I just forgot to tweet it. Sheffield, no longer a starter in the minors at Scranton. He's now a reliever. He is going to get 3 to 4 appearances. He already pitched 2 innings. He had one really strong inning. His second inning gave a RBI double of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Well, he's like the best hitter ever, so I don't blame you one bit. I have a feeling that those two are going to see each other a lot more in the next 15 years, but that's just a hunch. But he was pretty good. His fastball was like 96, I think, the whole time, so he's going to have some extra velocity, which would be nice to see. He's going to be a fantastic reliever. So the plan is to have him pitch 3 or 4 appearances, and then he'll be up in September with the call-ups when the rosters expand to 40, which will be very cool because that means less AJ Cole and less other incompetent pitchers. Justice Sheffield, A-OK in my book to go to the bullpen. I love that move. What else we got here? Oh, the London trip. So they announced the schedule for the MLB. We are hosting Baltimore in March, but the London trip is still going, and they have one day off after the trip. So we got to go all the way to London, change time zones, do this whole shebang when their game's probably going to get rained out because it's London. We're playing a baseball game. And I've already done this rant. It's still such a stupid fucking trip. But they got 1 day off after the series. One? Jesus. The fuck is that? One? Going to another country across the ocean. 1 day off? That's going to fuck us. Completely. Jesus. Stupid. I don't want to go to London. I might have to. I don't want to go. It's terrible. You drive on the wrong side of the road. It rains all the time. I've got people saying, oh, there's bars open all the time. There's bars open all the time in New York. It's nothing different. I can go anywhere pretty much in America. And I've got bars open. Anywhere. At any time. Don't tell me London's different because their bars are open. They serve Guinness at 10 in the morning. I don't even drink Guinness. Such a stupid fucking... Do this in March when it's going to rain here anyways. Or snow. Or be cold. Go to London then. That way we have time to do this. Oakland is playing in Japan in March. They're doing it the right way. We're going to fucking London. And don't tell me the flight is like the same as to California. It's different. It's going to fuck up their bodies. I don't like that. Maybe the sun will just explode and we'll all die by then. We had a doubleheader on Saturday. Looks like Sonny Gray is going to make his appearance back into the rotation for one time at least, it looks like. God knows. With already how weird the lineup is now, with Shane Robinson playing, whatever, what the hell is a doubleheader going to do this team? I would think Tyler Wade is going to be the 26th man. Just makes sense when you go down the roster and who we could use for an extra day, but it's going to be weird. We're going to have like Higashioka, Romine, who even knows? That's going to be tough, that doubleheader. And it's the Orioles, so we're going to lose 3 or 4. Oh, man. All right, let's go to some DMs. My phone is still working. What do we got here? First DM comes from Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, right before DMs, Pedro Martinez. Pedro has it's pretty much turning to Jared Carrabis. He is just calling out the Yankees no matter what for hustle and energy. I don't get it. Let's see where the first tweet was. He tweets a lot these days, Pedro. There's no way this is actually him tweeting, by the way. The Yankees don't seem to have the energy of a winning team. I understand some key players are injured, but they don't seem to be hustling out there. So that tweet would have been applicable when the whole Gary gate happened. But, I mean, this team is grinding. They've won 11 of 16 games. I mean, just look at Tuesday and tell me they're not grinding out wins. I mean, Wednesday sucked, for sure. I mean, that tweet did come out before Wednesday. He said that the day after, then maybe, but I mean, the team is. We got Shane Robinson in the lineup. We got Austin Romine. What do you want? Like, obviously, this team doesn't have the energy that they did in May when they had Aaron Judge and Giancarlo and Gary, and all these guys were hitting the cover off the baseball. And Didi. Yeah, no shit, we don't have the energy. Way to be, Pedro. Fucking genius. I think he said something else. It's very weird. And obviously all Red Sox fans are blowing him up and down for, oh, he's going against the Yankees. Fuck you. As much respect I have for the colleagues in the New York media, I'm saying the honest truth. The team that the Yankees have in the bench should beat teams like the Marlins. Oh, yeah? Shane Robinson, Luke Voit? Yeah. Oh, yeah, those guys shouldn't be in baseball, in Major League Baseball. Should be beating other teams like the Marlins. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't think I generally don't think he just watches the Yankees. I know he's paid on MLB Network to be an analyst. Don't think he's watching. Okay, now we'll go to the TMs. Let my pager rant go out there. Mike Toscano, are you worried about Gary and Judge? Are you worried that Gary and Judge will come back rusty and that won't find their rhythm in time for the playoffs? Also, would you rather get blown out at home in the wild card game or get swept by Boston? I am not concerned about Judge. I'm obviously interested about Gary. I do think Gary will be back earlier than Judge, so it gives him more time to get the rust off. He's seen running today already down in Florida. He was supposed to play today, but he didn't. I think he's going to play tomorrow. Oh, well, you're going to hear this on Friday. So I think he's playing today. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that. Hopefully Gary's back by the West Coast trip. I would hope that's my hope because we need as many people as back by then as humanly possible. Judge looks like mid-September, maybe for the Red Sox series at home. Maybe it seems to be mid-September, where his 6 to 7 week timeline is hovering around. So we'll have to see. I don't really. I think Gary will come back with a completely different player. I am confident he will be. It just honestly can't get much worse. So that's the way I'm looking at it. And Judge, I think Judge will be okay. I'm not really concerned about him ever. Second part of the question: would you rather get blown out at home in the wild card game or swept by Boston? Blown out at home by the wild card game. I don't need to get swept by Boston anymore. Don't need that feeling. Certainly not in the playoffs for them to hang that over my head for the next 5 years or whenever we change the beat. I much rather blow it out in the wild card, get it over with, just kill me. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Christian Cat. Question for the podcast. I'm not crazy for thinking I'd rather go to the wild card game than ALDS game 3 or 4, right? I mean, a win or go home is rare, even if I'd be missing out on Boston, New York, and the ALDS. I go to college at Penn State, so I can only really make the drive to New York for a few of select few playoff games. One, fuck Penn State. I hate Penn State with a dying passion, but you're fine in my book, Christian, because you're a Yankee fan. What would I rather go to? I've never been to a playoff game, so that's interesting. That might have to change this year, so maybe I can win. But what would I rather do? I don't know. It doesn't really beat Yankees Red Sox in the playoffs, does it? I feel like that's not a once in a lifetime opportunity, but doesn't happen too often where these teams are that good and they're playing each other in the playoffs. I think you got to go ALDS and take your chances that they just win the wild card game. Eric Sullivan, Tommy was spitting. Oh, this is A-Rod Jeter. I did that. This is from Fody. Come playoff time, where do you realistically see Glaber batting? I could see 5. Although Gary's back. So you would think. I don't think Gardner's going to be leading off. So I think Hicks will be leading off in the wild card game. And then Judge. 3-hitter. Giancarlo. I like the Judge Giancarlo back to back. 4-hitter Gary. Interchange Gary and Giancarlo. And then so that was Hicks, Judge, Giancarlo, Gary. So then I think Glaber 5, Andahar 6, or vice versa. So 5 or 6, nowhere below 6. And then you sort out the rest. Neil Walker, whatever you floats your boat. Gardner, and then I forgot about Didi. Shit. All right, so Didi probably hits. Now he's gonna break up to the lefty. Sorry, I'm doing this in my head. So Hicks, Judge, Didi 3rd. I like the lefty breaking up there. Giancarlo 4, Gary 5. So you're going Glaber or Andahar 6 or 7, and then you figure out from there. So at minimum 7, I could see 7, 6 or 7. Honestly, whoever's hotter going into the playoffs in September. 6 or 7. Nowhere lower than 7, obviously. Alonzo says, Hubs, love the pod. Hate getting ahead of myself with the team expected to spend in the offseason. What's your ideal haul of free agents? Not exactly the question for right now, but I'm looking at Patrick Corbin. I'm looking at probably Machado. And I think that would be a pretty good offseason. Maybe one more pitcher. I can't really think of the market right now, but Corbin for sure. He's basically said he wants to be a Yankee. And I think Machado's a foregone conclusion, moving Andahar to first and sending Greg Bird to the Sun. Max just discovered this podcast. It's gold. Gives me something to laugh at through my first year of law school. Well, great to hear that, Max. More importantly, at this point, given all Boone's bullpen fuck-ups / punting away winnable games, what's the plus minus where he'd be with Girardi? And I cannot stand Girardi, he puts in parentheses. I'd say Boone has probably cost this team 4 games by himself, and I don't think he's won any of them. I don't think he's made moves where I'm like, yep, great job, Boone. That was you. And that's tough for a manager to get credit for wins because it's really just an impossible situation, especially first-year manager. And it is also tough to give him criticism because the team is going to win 100 games in his first year. I still think any bumbling idiot could win 100 games for this team. Now, right now is trying times because of so many injuries, but 3 or 4. And it's tough to say that Girardi would be much better because he was kind of on his way out and getting criticism too. But he would have fire into this team. I'd say at least 3, maybe 5 we'd have a difference of. And we'd still be in the division race. Thanks, Boone. Chance, this is the last one. Short porch question. With all the injuries and a fucking blind first baseman of the Yankees, are in need of somebody to come up and really break out. Who do you think, besides Sheffield, of course, could come up and be a spark that this beat up team could use down the stretch? So I wrote down a few names of who I expect to be here in September, or just people I'd like to see. So obviously Sheffield, Wade will be here to be like a pinch runner slash, infielder, outfielder. Just he can play everywhere, so he'll be here. Mike Ford, I've mentioned. Ryan McBroom, we've mentioned before in previous podcasts. Love that guy. He's on a DL right now. I think he's coming back very soon. If not, he's back already. I haven't checked up on him, but love to see Ryan McBroom here. And Stephen Tarpley. I think McBroom could be the surprise, like, whoa, where has this guy been? I think McBroom has pop from big time pop from as a righty, plays both corner outfield positions. I like Ryan McBroom a lot. Mike Ford, too. I don't know if Ford gets the call up, but would like to see him over Bird. That's for sure. But Ryan McBroom would be my pick. I think he could really change a lot. Stephen Tarpley, good reliever. Yeah, that's it. Jesus Christ. Time flies when you're having fun. This was fun. A little solo pod. Don't know how many more of these we'll be doing, but it was fun to get my feet in the water. That will do it for the short porch. I will see you back here along with Tommy Smokes, I believe, on Sunday, God willing. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully we have a four against the Orioles. Doubleheader Saturday. Probably split that because we don't know how to win those. And yeah, just keep pushing, keep extending that wild card lead. Let's get up to date right now. The A's were playing during this. A's are losing 6-3. That's always nice to see. So with the A's losing, so the Yankees are 8 back in the loss of Boston. I'd say it's pretty much over. Well, maybe not, but probably. They are going to be 5 up in the loss on Oakland, 4 up total. So they have three less wins. 5 up in the loss, and then 9 up in the loss on the Mariners. So that's good. That's a good position. It's a good, nice, comfy lead. Assuming they hold on. Twins have that lead in the 6-3 bottom the A's. So the A's would have to have a hell of a rally here. But that's it. So 5 up in the loss on the A's for that first wildcard spot, which we have to have. And yeah, so let's go beat the Orioles. Let's win 3 of 4. Maybe Sonny Gray turns head. Probably not. God damn it. All right, that's our show. Talk to you later. Bye.